Hello, hi everyone. Michelle Melendez with Blossom Inner Wellness and StandTogetherHawaii.com, and I'm really excited because this video is going to blow your mind. Okay, I'm talking with T, and she's going to explain who she is a little bit more in detail. She's a friend of mine from about 3 years ago when I started doing activism work. She's been studying this stuff, studying what the system is that we're under, what the government system is that we're under. So take it away, kind of share a little bit about your background and why you started researching the government and understanding the systems that are in place for us.
Hi, good morning.
There?
I'm called T, and I'm just one of the people here in Hawaii. And what started me on this path is when I live in Hawaii. And moving to Hawaii and learning that, Hawaii is not the 50th state. So at first I didn't believe it until I started diving deeper and deeper, and then finding out that, there's no annexation of treaty of annexation. So it is not the 50th state, which we all were led to believe. And with that rabbit hole, I went down and led me to another rabbit hole, which is the United States is not a government. So if Hawaii is not the 50th state,
what did you just say? So let's go a little slower with what you just said, because this is big and people are this is gonna be. So I just want to warn you guys. What we're gonna share today is gonna be hard to grasp and understand. It's gonna be like, what? That can't be right. You're gonna go, that can't be right. But we're gonna show you proof of how it is. So say that again, but just say it a little slower about the United States.
Okay, yeah. So finding out that Hawaii is not the 50th state, I, went down another rabbit hole in getting evidence to why the United States is not a government. And so, there's a lot of pieces of the puzzle that I'm trying to put together in a way that's easily understandable for people to grasp, because we're not comprehending that, we're being attacked by all these businesses that are disguised as government. And so, we're in fear because we don't understand that Walmart is coming at us and charging us with things. But, because of this.
Yeah, I want to pop in there, because the reason why she said Walmart, you guys, she said Walmart because that is the comparison to what the government is. And we're going to show you their Duns and Bradstreet number, which is their corporation number. We're going to actually show you that to you and where you can find it to yourself. Because if you're like, this is crazy, there's no way this can be true, we're going to show you how to look it up yourself so you can see for yourself. But the reason why she said Walmart is because it's a comparison to the power that this government has, that we think has a bunch of power and that we're all in fear of, but they don't have the power that we've given to them and that they even think they have. So go ahead. Thank you. Thank you, T.
Because they're nothing more than businesses. So businesses have power only over the employees. And so, we were led to believe that we're U.S. citizens, right? That means employees of the U.S. business. And now finding out that we're not. So if we're not employees of the United States corporation or business, then what are they doing mandating us to do anything, or these codes and statutes? What does it have to do with us, unless we inadvertently contract with them without full disclosure? And this is what's been happening with the Social Security, with the driver's license, with the IDs, and registering everything. When we register, it becomes their property. So you understand now they're in the business of making profits. And we're accessories to it because we don't know any better. And so anytime you sign your name on a government document, that's a contract. And so we would really need to be careful about what we're signing, what we're putting our autograph to.
Yes. So what T is talking about is that when you have a birth certificate, so back in, I think it was the 1920s, I can't remember the exact date, there was a Townsend Act, the Townsend Maternity Act, Townsend Act, it was, yes, Maternity Act, and I'm not getting the name right, but it was somehow, Townsend is in there. So, and I believe it was the 1920s, it might have been a little bit later. yeah, so anyway, I'll get that date, and I will actually put the link in the description so you understand what the Townsend Act is. It actually created a birth certificate under the guise that this was going to be good for mothers and for infants and keep them safe. It's going to support them. So, but that's how the birth certificate was created. And the birth certificate is a contract that the parents sign over their child as a commodity for the Federal Reserve. So what happens is the Federal Reserve then issues a bond to the United States corporation, not government. We're not in a government anymore, you guys, and we're gonna show you how and why this is true. And I know this is probably blowing your mind, but show you their Duns and Bradstreet numbers. And so what happens is that contract then creates, again, you, the baby, as a commodity for the federal government to issue a bond of, I believe it's between $600,000 to $700,000 to the United States government. And what that means is that is an estimation of how many taxes you're going to pay, that child, that baby, is going to pay in their lifetime. It's an estimation of how many taxes that are then going to go back to the federal government as the loan for the bond. Is that right, T?
Yeah, I don't remember the dates and such, but the important thing also to recognize is that because that name was created by the U.S. I shouldn't say government anymore. Well, we're so used to saying that. The United States business, it's not our name. So if you look at all your government IDs and documents, they're all usually in all upper caps. And all upper caps is a dead thing, is an entity. It's not a real live man and woman. And so, that's something that we always say we're taught in school, right? That you say your name. And that's not really, the name is not really us. The name is what they created on the birth certificate. So the birth certificate is not ours, it's theirs. So stop using the birth certificate as any form of ID or the Social Security or your, driver's license. That's not a form of ID. It's not identifying you because, we're men and women, flesh and blood. Those documents, that name is a fiction, is a corporate system, part of the corporate system. And because they are corporate, they can only deal with other corporations. They cannot deal with people. That's why they create.
They cannot deal with a living person, a living man and woman, flesh and blood. They can't deal with that. So what she's saying, and if you're just listening for this and you're just like, oh my gosh, what? Just listen to it, take it in. So I've been studying this for a long time. And when I first started studying it, it was so overwhelming for me that it took me so long to really start to grasp what the understanding of what we're talking about. So I just wanted to plug in there. Go to standtogetherhawaii.com, standtogetherhawaii.com, and I'm going to be creating a freedom school. I've been saying that for a few weeks. I'm actually backlogged on some videos, but I will be creating this in the next couple of months. And Captain Matt, the fire captain of 33 years, is helping me with this. And T is going to be helping me with this as well, a little bit with the how to get out of the criminal system, how to get out of the court system, how to get things dismissed. Because basically, what they're doing, the court system is a business, and they're wanting you to pay money to them because that is their business. So there's a way you can get out of that system because it's a corporation. It's not the government. So Tia, I just wanted to throw that in there again. If you want to learn more, and I actually think I'm going to put this on my Blossom Inner Wellness channel. But both email lists are going to get this information. blossominnerwellness.com or standtogetherhawaii.com. You're going to get when the Freedom School is launched, and you're going to get this information, and you can just donate. I know that a lot of people, have to pay a lot of money, including myself. I've spent a lot of money to hire somebody to help me get out of the system and understand this work. But I'm just going to do this as a donation because every single person in America needs to know this. And I don't care if you can't pay $2,000, which I paid, but it's all good. It's learning and it's education. And we have to know that what we think of as a government is a corporation fucking with us and getting us to pay them money. So Tia, I want to let you go again, but I do have to say I just paid my car registration, and it was really pulling at my strings because I know that that is a corporation. My car is not owned by me if it's registered with the DMV, the corporate system. So I basically they got $160 out of me, and I chose to do that because right now I'm picking my battles. I've already contacted the IRS to get myself out of the system. I've already contacted the Secretary of State telling them that I have a right to claim what I am, and I am a national, not a slave U.S. citizen, and I've already sent in my national for my national passport. So I'm picking my battles. That's another battle, is getting that car off and out of the system. So I own it and not the corporation. So T, I love what you're saying. You have first let's show them the Duns and Bradstreet number, and then T actually helped somebody get out in a court case, get out of this, get it dismissed. So keep going, T. What else would you like to share about that?
Well, yeah. So I wanted to show, I guess, the method and the procedure and the protocol, because, you know, it's actually relatively easy. And, you know, once you understand who's who and what's what. So, you know, I want you to show them the motion of nolle prosequi, which I helped this man get from a criminal case. So it was a criminal case, and if you could scroll down, you
Hold
can
on a second.
see,
Let me find it. Okay, so which one is it? What's it called? It's the emergency order?
No, the motion nolle prosequi.
Okay, it's on your other email, so let me open that. How did you feel, while I'm looking this up, how did you feel when you started understanding what you were seeing and what you were researching?
Yeah,
how did that make you feel?
It's been a long process, and so I'm collecting pieces of the puzzle. And so now I'm starting to put it together, and, you know, and actually putting it to use. And so when this case was dropped before the hearing, I think I have something. And so I wanted to put it out to the masses, because, you know, how many of us are just have this monkey on our backs with the court, you know, coming at us and for months and years, and requiring us to come and show up and you know, contract with them. And when you get an attorney, in which, if you sit in court, like traffic court, for instance, you'll see that they'll try to sell the attorney. Oh, if you can't afford one, we'll give one to you. Well, guess what? When you get an attorney, what does that mean? It means in their code that you're an award of the state. And when you look up the definition of the ward, it means you're an infant or an incompetent. So how do you like that? When you get an attorney, that means you're an infant or incompetent without any rights. And so guess what? You know, are under their jurisdiction because you have no rights. So a lot of people don't know this. And so, you know, they keep going, oh, okay, free attorney, great. And they're going to represent me and they're going to help me. Except for, no, they're going to throw you under the bus in all likelihood.
And tell us about this case that you were talking about. So somebody came to you. Why? What did they come to you for?
Well, you know, I wanted to go over the case so to show people, yeah, exactly what has been done successfully. Okay, so with the nolle prosequi, you can see that this is a snapshot of the court e-kokua system. So when you have a case, then you can go onto the website, and I guess it's court.hawaii.something. But on the left-hand side, there is a, here.
Well, I have the picture open. I have the screenshot at the jump. JIMPS1.court.state.hawaii.us 808.
Yeah.
So I have that screenshot.
Right. So if you had to go to court.state.hawaii.us, and you go on that website, that's the court's website, right? And you go on the left-hand side, there's the e-court kokua, so you can look up your cases. So you put in your case number or you put in the name, then it'll come up as far as who the prosecutor is, who the defendant is, who the plaintiff is, et cetera, et cetera. And so if you look at that motion for null prosecute, then you can see that on the certain date what was filed. So on the 25th, it's a criminal citation, and you go down, and 9:05 there's a hearing, and there's a waiver of counsel. So you don't want counsel. You have to tell them ahead of time that you don't want an attorney. You don't want to be represented, because if you do, then you're awarded the state with no rights. So that's really important. And then if you go down to September 15, we filed a bunch of things, documents, which I'm going to go over today briefly, and give you all the templates of what was done so you can do it yourself. And then you go down a little bit further on the 21st. This is the prosecutor filing a motion for NP, nolle prosecute with prejudice. With prejudice means they can never bring the case back again. That means they dropped it for good. So in some cases where people get a dismissal with prejudice and they think, woohoo, they won, no, because they can bring it back. And I've seen that happen. So you want with prejudice, meaning they cannot bring it back again. So that's—
And what does nolle prosaic mean? What does nolle prosaic mean?
It means drop the case. So you can look it up. Yeah, so it means the case is dropped. Yeah, and so that's just an evidence to let you know that it was actually it did actually happen, and it's not just me saying it. But so next, I want to go over the procedure of how and why this is done the way it is, so that you can get a clear understanding of what had happened. Okay, so the premise, if you go to the procedure page.
Okay.
So the premise of this is that because, again, the so-called governments are actually for-profit businesses and not government. And you can verify this with the DUNS number, and you can look it up, dnb.com. And so because they're businesses, they don't have any power to do anything over the people. So they can't do mandates or, emergency proclamations or whatever it is unless we comply. So again, if we comply by having a contract with them unknowingly, but with all these documents and registrations and, whatever
licenses.
It is that we sign, licenses, all of that is, they call it, what is it? Anyway, their contract, right? So if you go to the Clearfield Doctrine, which I think it's a Supreme Court case, then it says all courts were dissolved under the Clearfield Doctrine and became registered companies on Dun and Bradstreet. So when governments enter the world of commerce, that means they charge money, there's fees and fines and whatnot. Then they are subject to the same burdens as any private firm or corporation. So there's, a bunch of case laws regarding that. So they're no more than like Walmart, which, I gave the example before. So the state of Hawaii has zero power except for the same power as Walmart does. But
and I want to show you guys this. Let's go into the and I'm not sure if I did the screen share correctly for the first court thing, so I do want to just skim that a little bit. But I wanted to go here first with the Duns and Bradbury Duns number for that's the White House. But here's the state of Hawaii, you guys. The state of Hawaii isn't even it's a corporation. And it's not even, says the address isn't even in Hawaii. It's in Washington, D.C. It's the District of Columbia. And can you explain this? This is, okay, so this is the Duns and Bradstreet Duns number lookup. And I looked it up. I just put in other company, and then the business name was State of Hawaii. That's the business name right there. And then this is what came up. One search came up. state of Hawaii, Washington, D.C. This is their number right here. This is the Duns and Bradstreet number. They are a location business out of business. Oh, sorry, wait a minute. Out of, well, I don't know why it says out of, but it's a business. And this basically says it's not a government. It's actually a business that's traded on the stock market. So the governor has no freaking power.
Yeah, and he's not a governor. He's listed on Duns and Bradstreet as like a primary agent or something. So every business has to have like a primary agent, right? So through that website, you can look up, a key principal, he's called. And so it used to give the address and the key principal. Now it doesn't anymore. So I don't know. I think maybe too many people are looking it up and figuring it out. So you got to pay to get more detailed information. But that website will give you information about who the key principals are, their primary location, address, and their financial information. And so, if you want to know how the financial information of the state of Hawaii, the business, the corporation, then you can go on that website, and you got to pay, unfortunately. But fortunately, we can find out, all the names of the business, what they're doing business as, because the state of Hawaii, if you look, it says doing business as Hawaii Employer Union Health Benefits Trust Fund. Okay, so
where does it say that?
Fund.
Where does it say that? Where does it say that? So I can let people see.
It used to have more information than it does now. Now, before, if you click on the state of Hawaii, it'll have this information. Now, recently, as within like a week ago, it doesn't give that information anymore. So all it gives is the DUNS number.
I'm going to go back
so you
to
might
this
have to
and
pay.
show you guys. Okay.
Yeah, so you might have to pay now to get all that information, but a week ago.
I will be paying to get this information so I can show everybody it. So yes, so I wanted to show that, and then I also wanted to show, so anybody can go here, duns.dnb.com, and then you go /duns, number lookup.html. So I also looked up the White House. The White House office is, Duns and Bradstreet, Duns number. And let me just tell you guys what this means. What is a Duns number? The Dun and Bradstreet Duns number, short, parentheses, short for Data Universal Numbering System, is a 9-digit unique identifier for businesses. Hundreds of millions of Duns numbers exist for companies across the globe. A DUNS number is assigned through a patented identity resolution process, part of the DUNS right. Data governance, which includes thousands of separate automated checks. The DUNS number identifies a company as being unique from any other of the Duns and Bradstreet data cloud. It is used as the starting point for any company's living business identity. For any company's living business identity, oh my gosh, for any company's living business identity, which helps ensure you have the most accurate and up-to-date view of organizations. Okay, you guys? Which helps you to ensure that you have the most up-to-date and accurate view of organizations. Now, that's what we're talking about. And then I looked up the White House, the office of the White House. The White House office is at Washington, D.C., which is a District of Columbia. It is a
look at the
corporation.
Address. Yeah, look at the address, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, Washington, D.C. Okay, and then if you're showing that screenshot, it also says underneath Government of the United States, also the same address, 1600 Pennsylvania. Okay, so that's the headquarters.
There's actually a few different White Houses, and they're all different. The ones that I have, Tara, they're all different street addresses, but they're the same: Washington, D.C., Washington, D.C., Washington, D.C., all of the White House office. So
yeah, the one I sent you, the screenshot that I sent you of the White
okay.
House.
I have to stop share and share the different screen. Then let me find it over here. The one you just sent me, though, the recent one.
Yeah.
Right? Not okay.
Yeah,
let me get that one.
The White House.
Oh, I see. Okay, let me open that up and then do a screen share. Okay, so got it, you guys. It's a lot of stuff here happening. Okay, Safari. All right, here we go. The White House office. So Pennsylvania, yeah, and then government of the United States.
Right. So that's the headquarters. So that's the headquarters, and then it also has all these subsidiaries called the White House office, the White House this, the White House that, but they're all subsidiaries of the government of the United States.
Oops, sorry.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know how I did that. Oh, there we go. Oh, sorry. I'm having some techie issues here. All right, there we go. Yeah, so subsidiaries means there's more than one office, and then this is the headquarters, government of the United States, which is corporation. The whole thing's a corporation. The entire government is a corporation. It is not a government. It is not what our forefathers wanted for us. They didn't, you know, do a revolution and have they didn't create this Declaration of Independence, and now all the governors are trying to change the Constitution or ignore it or say that an emergency proclamation supersedes the Constitution. Nothing supersedes the Constitution as long as we get our asses out of the government system and stop being employees or actually products. We're products of the U.S. government. When we have a birth certificate, we're actually a product. We're actually a citizen / slave of the government. And anything else you want to say around that, Tara?
Yeah, well, if you share this screen of U.S. Department of Justice on the Dun & Bradstreet, it's the same thing, U.S. Department of Justice, okay? And where that's located, D.C., the Navy, U.S. Department of the Navy, veterans, you know, all kinds of things. Anything that you believe once upon a time that was government, you can put it in DNB.com and you can find out that in fact they're not. And so there's the Justice Department, U.S. Department of Justice. Okay, that's a branch of the U.S. government, you know, in Washington, D.C. And there's also U.S. Department of Defense, U.S. Department of Interior, U.S. Department of Labor, U.S. Department of Commerce. So all these organizations are all subsidiaries and of the U.S., the parent corporation called the U.S. And so there's another screen share of the Hawaii courts.
So I want to tell you guys what you're seeing. You're seeing the United States Department of Defense. This is the address. This is their Dun & Bradstreet number. This is their business number. And just let that sink in. The United States government is a corporation. It is not a government. And this is something that we all need to grasp and really understand, that they have no power over us. And the U.S. Department of Justice, let me just share this screen one more time, and then we'll do the Hawaii ones. And then I have a few more minutes. Veterans of Health, again, Bradstreet number. Where they are, all of them are Washington, D.C. Tara, can you please tell us why? Why is it Washington, D.C.? What does that mean? What is District of Columbia? What does that mean?
Because that's the parent company, the parent corporation called the U.S. It's based in Washington, D.C. So unless you live in Washington, D.C. and you know, you contract with them as a U.S. citizen. This is why they want us all to be U.S. citizens, right? Because U.S. citizens are what? Subject to the parent corporation. So Walmart employees have to obey by Walmart rules, right? So stop calling, if we start calling ourselves U.S. citizens, then this is what our fate is all those orders and proclamations and mandates apply to us. But if we're not U.S. citizens, then it's a different story. Then we're not under that jurisdiction.
So again, you guys, you go to either standtogetherhawaii.com or Blossom Inner Wellness. Blossom and then Inner, INNER, wellness.com. Just join my email list. I haven't created the Freedom School because I'm doing so many interviews, and I'm interviewing a state representative tomorrow who's going to be sharing about how there's way more than 97 deaths in Maui. So I'm still doing the Maui fires. That's not over with until we have justice, until we have truth unfolding for the people of Lahaina. And there's another interview I'm doing on Sunday with a person from the National Security. So give me some time. I am going to be creating this Freedom School. Just join the email list so you can get information. If you're on my YouTube channel, if you subscribe, like, and share so that we can get this information out. And also, please join my Rumble channel, because I don't know if YouTube's going to look at this and go, "You're booted, Michelle." I'm not sure. So just subscribe here, but also subscribe to the Rumble channel. The link is in description, and so that you can get notified when I get other videos. If YouTube boots me off, but I'm putting out there that there's a beautiful shield of truth, information, power that is shielding this information to get out to the people, because it's time. It is time, you guys. It's time we see how much we've been fooled. It's time we see how much we have been enslaved and lied to by these people for a very, very long time, much longer than you can even realize. So I'm going to do a screen share again, and now we're going to talk about the emergency in the Circuit Court of the Second Circuit, State of Hawaii, emergency order number 1 regarding Maui fires, probate cases. So what do you want to talk about this, T?
Yeah. So prior to talking about that, I wanted to go over again the screenshot for the Hawaii court businesses. And so, there's the judiciary courts of the state of Hawaii, which is a subsidiary of the U.S. corporation. So that's the parent corporation. So these are all the subsidiaries. Okay. So if you go down, then you can see Hawaii, Hilo, you see Lihue, huh?
It says branch.
Yeah. So they're all branches. Right. So all these courts, so-called courts on the different islands are just branches of the judiciary courts of the state of Hawaii, which is a corporation. So they're all corporations, right?
Yeah.
And so when you are talking about and all the segues, this is all can apply to Maui in a big way. Okay, so this one little court case, the criminal court case that was dismissed, this can segue into anything.
Oh, okay. Okay, you're talking about the one you did?
Yes.
The one you did that was dismissed? Okay, I'm going to pull that up, because I'm not sure if I did a screen share, if I did it correctly. Let me just pull it up again for people to see, so that you can make sure that I did this correctly. So if I didn't share the screen correctly on the first time, I'm going to just do it right now. This is what she was talking about. So this is the JIMSPSS1.court.state of Hawaii. This is what she was talking about. So if you didn't see this, I may have not have done a screen share correctly. It was 825 criminal case. This is the filings. 825 notice of electronic filing. And then 905 waiver of counsel. So the person did not choose to get a lawyer, which again, T stated that you don't want to do that, because that makes you a ward, which makes you basically a slave to their system. And then this is what happened: the motion of NP with prejudice, which is the dismissal, and the notice of electronic filing. So this was dismissed from using the information that T is talking about, because you basically told them they have no jurisdiction. Like, what did you say? Because this court got into the criminal case was about a dog that attacked another person's pet and killed it, which is extraordinarily sad. But then it was taken to court. And what did you say to the court around, like, can you describe that? Like, because you're saying that Walmart is equivalent to these courts because they're both businesses, and the court had no business being a part of this thing that happened, because it's a business. It's not a government agency.
Right. What happened was between two people, and it's a private interaction between two people, and restitution was made to the injured party. And that's how real law is. If you did harm to somebody, you make restitution to them. How does this business, intervene and then, ask to pay fees and fines to the business? Not to the people who are injured, but to the business. And so all traffic cases are the same thing. Is there an injured party? Okay, so that basically is like, when you are stopped by one of these people disguised as government, like, police or whatever, you first of all, you don't sign anything. And if you can get away with it, you don't give them any government ID, because again, that's evidence, right? That you have contracted. You don't want to sign anything. If you are coerced, or if you think that you could be in danger from not, because some cops are bullies, and they will intimidate. That's the whole game, is intimidation. So by fear, we start contracting with them. We start answering questions. You can say, I don't, I plead the fifth, which means, you don't have to incriminate yourself, because when you give these IDs, when you say too much, when you sign, you incriminate yourself. So you can say, I plead the fifth, and if they want to give you the ticket, you can refuse to sign. But if you feel like you're going to be threatened with harm, bodily harm, then go ahead and, you put void on there. You sign void, or you put by, colon, and then you put, I don't know, anything.
All rights reserved. You can sign and put all rights reserved.
All rights reserved.
Or signing under duress.
Right.
You can sign under duress. You can sign it and then put under duress underneath.
Right. But you always do a by colon, because by colon separates you from that person, that business, entity that they created in the name of the birth certificate, from the living. So when you sign anything, you have to sign anything by BY colon, and then you sign, you autograph your name, and then you put authorized representative, agent, or just authorized representative. Because again, that's the putting yourself away from that entity that they're trying to attack. So they're attacking the entity, the name, right? They can't attack you because
the capitalization of your name that you were given to at birth. That's what they're attacking. They're not attacking the living person, the living man or woman, because they can't. But they can attack the entity that they created at your birth, which is your birth certificate. That's what's going to court, not the living man or woman. So I have to get to another call, but I do want to finish up this one with the court case with the Maui fires. So can you briefly share what this is about?
Yeah, so with the emergency order, which I found, and it says, again, in the circuit court of the Second Circuit, and you can find that their DNB number, state of Hawaii, you can find the DNB number for that, the DUNS number for that, okay? And then it says emergency order. So who does the emergency order pertain to? It pertains to all the U.S. citizens that's under the state of Hawaii. So if you're not one of those, then none of these orders or proclamations apply to you. And if you read it, I'll make it short, but if you read it, it says members of the Hawaii State Bar Association step forward to assist families in dealing with legal aspects of blah, blah, blah. Many of these attorneys have provided their services at reduced fees and made completely free of charge. Okay, so that's an advertisement. Oh, come in. We'll get a bar member, which is British Accreditation Registry. So, it's members of the British. So the British are still here.
Oh my God. So that's a whole other rabbit hole. So bar.
That's another whole.
What again?
Right.
I didn't know this.
Oh
my gosh.
Yeah, British Accreditation Registry.
Okay.
And so they're coming over. Right. And then they're saying, oh, well, we'll get free help from a lawyer. And so that when you get help from a lawyer or attorney, that means you're a ward of the state, which is an infant and an incompetent who have no rights, right? Right. So when you go into traffic court, it's the same thing. Oh, we'll give you a free attorney. Don't worry about it. Right. And completely free of charge. Well, I've been filing stuff in court for years now without charge. And people don't know any better. And they give them money. Oh, this will cost you $10, per page or whatever it is. And you say, there's a file on demand. There's another document called file on demand. And you give it to them, because if they don't file it and they charge you fees and fines and give you problems, they can go to jail for 3 years or $2,000 fine. So, if you give that to the clerk who refuses to file your documents or whatever, you see here, this is your code here that says that you're liable for $2,000 or 3 years in jail. So file on demand. Yeah, so it's very, very powerful. If you know what their laws are to use against them, then they have nowhere to go.
So thank you so much, T. If you guys are watching this going, okay, what just happened to my life? You're not alone. You are not alone. This stuff is deep. This stuff is crazy. This stuff is when you realize that we've been bamboozled for so long, that our government is a corporation and it's actually been using us as commodity and as property to just get money out of us, that it hurts. The first time I learned all of this stuff, I was cried like a baby for 3 freaking days. I couldn't get out of bed. So if that's you, it's okay. So T, I'm going to have you on again to go through this again and again one more time, you know, later on. So we are going to go through different aspects of the truth around this. And again, go to either standtogetherhawaii.com. And if you're already on the email list, just stay on the email list. You're good to go. Or Blossom Inner Wellness, INNER, inner, inside, blossominnerwellness.com. Either one of those two. I'm going to be creating a freedom school. I'm going to give you that information, donation-based only, because you guys, this is no more money, because if we had just taken all the money out of the whole entire world and we just served each other, this world would be exactly the way it's supposed to be. You know, these trees, they don't pay any money. We don't give them money for oxygen. You know, they don't give us money for carbon dioxide. So that's the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be just this beautiful harmony of supporting each other, of loving each other. And that's how they get us too, is because they put us in fear and against each other. But anyway, I have to get on to another call. T, thank you so much. I want to bring you back on a little bit later when I have more time. And you guys, if you're getting this, if you're like, okay, where can I go for more information? I'm going to, well, if you want to look up some of these numbers just on your own, Dunn's, where's that? What's the website to go if they want to look at these?
D and the B. D for Dunn's, N as in Nancy, B for Bradstreet.com. And next time I want to go over all the documents that I filed, and I put it into Word so that anybody can use it and put in, you know, your specific personal information. And I'll go over all of them so you understand exactly why these documents are filed and served the way it is. And look into FOIA, which is the Freedom of Information Act, in which they have, by federal law, their law now used against them, they have to answer you within 10 days. So look at the significance of that in Maui, because, you know, we're going in and asking them questions. Yeah, when you can just file a FOIA and they have to answer within 10 days. How beautiful is that?
So we're going to be doing that with the governor. You guys, a lot of things are coming with that man and of Hawaii. And also, if your state has had these fires, you can do this with your state or your country. Well, actually, I don't know about the country because it's the United States. But anyway, I just do want to lastly say these people who own this corporation own all the corporations around the entire world. So I'm going to be sharing about who those people are and our power, which is trusting in that higher presence. So T, thank you so much. I have to jump on another call, and you guys, mahalo so much for joining me. Please subscribe, share this, like, make a comment. I do try to go through some of the comments as well, and just sending everybody so much inner strength and aloha. Thank you, T.
Aloha. Aloha.